Hi guys, and welcome back to Hilltop Farm. I'm Jay, and today I'm going to show you how to make a Mochrum chicken pie. Now, do you remember we did the chicken stock and we used a whole chicken? Well, once we finished with the chicken stock, we shredded all the meat off that bird, all the chicken, and that's what we've got here. Okay, so you obviously need that chicken. Here we have a couple of onions that have been finely diced. We have 4 beautiful apples that have come from straight out of the garden off our tree out there. We're going to need butter, salt and pepper, and some short crust pastry. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to peel and core our apples. And I always keep a large plastic bag in the bottom of the freezer to put the cores and the apples in, because that's how we make our homemade pectin. And it's also how we make our own apple cider vinegar, which is another thing I'll be showing you at some point in time. So if you leave me to do that, we will then chop it up finely, put it in a saucepan with just a splash of water, okay, because we want to start heating it up. We want it down to a puree, and the onions we're going to lightly fry in some butter till they become translucent. Okay, so I'll be back with you soon. You need about that much butter. Okay, we'll just melt that in our frying pan. That's almost melted there. Now, as I say, we're just wanting these lightly cooked so they go translucent. I originally came across this recipe in a cookbook by one of my mentors, I must say, the lovely Clarissa Dixon Wright. She was one of the first people that I came across that shared my views on supermarkets and actually learning about what it is that's in your food and what you eat. So this is one of her recipes, and she got it from a castle that was called Old Place of Mochrum, 14th century castle in the south of Scotland. The butler had to invent this when all of a sudden there were guests for tea and no one to cook, and he raced around the kitchen and found some bits and pieces, and he came up with this. Now our onions are cooked, and just taken those off the heat. We need them to go cool, and while our apples are breaking down into a puree, I thought I'd work on the meat. Now what I've done is halve the meat, because the beauty of this recipe is not only do you get 11 parts of stock out of it, you get 2 pies, so that's 11 parts of stock and 2 meals out of 1 chicken. Alright, now this is one of the stocks. Now what I do, add probably add a quarter of a pint to that. You just need to moisten it up a bit. Tends to dry out. Okay, we'll see how that goes. Now we need to season it. So I've got Himalayan salt here. I think we'll have probably 3 decent pinches of that. Now we sprinkle. As you can see, there's a hefty lot of pepper in there, and then we mix it all round thoroughly. Got to make sure it is evenly through, otherwise someone's going to have a bland piece and someone else will become a mouthful of peppercorns. Okay. It's kind of getting there. Okay. I think it needs a fraction more pepper. And again, evenly mix. Okay. And give it a taste. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Okay. So, we'll put that to one side. So our onions have cooled over here. Our apples have formed a puree nicely there. This is our chicken that has been seasoned. Now, here we have our pie dish, well greased, and short crust pastry. And I have a confession to make. I've bought the pastry, but we'll make pastry another time and I'll show you how to do that. But don't tell anyone. Okay, so we've lined our pie dish with our short crust pastry. Now, I know this all sounds very strange, and I thought so too, but it is very, very nice. Bear with me. Okay, we start off by assembling our pie with the onions on the bottom. Okay, now because they've cooled, they're sticking to the wooden spatula. Okay, so spread those out like so. Okay. Now, yum. Now, put on our meat, which, as I say, you've seasoned to taste, but, you know, make sure you're generous. You want to be able to taste it. Well, I do anyway. Okay, now we spread this out evenly. There should be an even distribution of light and dark meat anyway, from when you've mixed in your salt and pepper and your stock. Okay, so that's that. Next thing, strangely enough, is apple. Now, pile it all up in the middle first, like that. Okay. Then carefully work it out to the edges. Now, do you see the consistency of this? It's not runny. It's not like an apple sauce. You don't want that, because apple sauce consistency, it'll run down sort of into the meat, and you'll have this kind of apple stewy chicken thing that I think would be quite bizarre. Anyway, so you want pureed. No sugar is added, because you're looking for a rather tart taste. Having said that, if you do use Granny Smith or cooking apples and they're really tart, I mean, taste it before you use it. If they're really sour tart, add some sugar then. But these were Red Delicious off our tree. Not quite ripe, so it's given it a little bit of a tarty twist, which is what we're looking for. Now, the next thing we do is I'll clean this away and pop this to one side, and then we're going to lattice the top. Now, as you can see, I've got a sheet rolled out here that I've cut into strips. Now, I can never be bothered with all that fiddle-faddle about weaving one piece in and under and over, and I do a lattice that gives you a diamond top. I personally think it looks better anyway. It's certainly easier. Now you just start off putting one there, then one there, one there, one there, and you just keep going till you get all the way across the pie, leaving sort of a gap in between each one. Alright, I'll just finish that off. Okay, so when you're done, it'll look like that, rather resembling the window in a jail cell. Alright, now, take another one. Now, rather than go that way, I always think it looks a little bit nicer to offset it. And this is what I meant by a diamond pattern. When you go this way, you do the same thing. You leave the same sort of amount of gap. But when you go this way, you leave little diamond openings. You see that? I personally think much more decorative, much more sophisticated, and I'm sure it was how it was done in the Scottish country manner. Okay. I'll be back when it's time to trim it up. So we make sure they're all firmly in place. Right, now I have to trim it up. Now, the secret is, when you're trimming up a pie like this, you cut down, right, but then you don't pull up against the pastry, because you'll pull it off the lip. So you push down, then you come up like this. I'll show you. You push down, come up away from the pastry. Push down, away from the pastry. If you try and come up here, you see you'll pull it up. And as I say, you don't want to do that. So Push down. Okay. Down. Down. You see, that's really easy. Now, get rid of all that lot. Put that all in the sink out of the way. Now that looks, you have to admit, that looks extremely professional, and the sides are all trimmed up beautifully. Now we just give it an egg wash, which, as you probably know, is beaten egg brushed over the top. It helps bind it together and gives it a bit of colour. Now our oven should have been preheating very, very hot. Preheat at 220 degrees C or 425 F or gas mark 7, right? Once that's had its egg wash, it goes in that very hot oven for 10 minutes. Then turn it down, don't forget it, whatever you do, turn it down to 180 C or 350 F or gas mark 4 and continue cooking for 30 minutes. Alright? We're going to do that, and I'm going to be back when it comes out of the oven and show you how glorious it looks. Okay, and there we have it. Isn't that just divine? And the smell is glorious. Now when you serve this to guests, don't tell them what it is. And they can see the pale green in between the lattice, and they're trying desperately to work out what it is. But you can play a joke on them. Now, this can be served pretty much anything you like. It can be served with salads, it can be served with vegetables, it can be served with roast vegetables or chips, anything like that. Depending on how big your family is and how heartier eaters they are, you could in fact get 2 meals out of this one pie. You certainly could perhaps get 1 meal and a couple of slices, say, for someone to have cold for lunch. Because the other beauty of this pie is if you let that go cold, and you can take that on a picnic, just as it is, and you take your knife and your serving spatula with you, and you can have it cold, as I say, and it's just as nice cold as it is hot. Now, as I say, that would probably do my family for 2 meals. Contrary to what you might think, I'm not actually a massive eater, and the other 3 members of the house are ladies and don't eat as much anyway. So, when you think about it, we had 1 large chicken. Okay, we've had some apples, we've had a couple of onions, maybe 4 onions, let's say, a couple of carrots, some celery, what else, salt and pepper, bit of butter, oh, the pastry. But all that combination, it's given us 11 pints of top quality, tasty chicken stock that's now in our pantry. It's given us, we make another one of this because we've halved the meat, as I said. So it's in effect given us 4 meals plus all that stock out of one admittedly very large, but out of one chicken. So not only have you got a top quality homemade meal there, but the saving is astronomical, because for probably $20, maybe $25 at a push, you've got 4 meals and 11 pints of stock. Well, I think that's not bad going. So, I hope you try this, because it's very easy. Leave comments in the comments below, or if you go into our channel's page and click on About, the email address for Hilltop Farm is there. You can email us direct. Let me know what you think. Send me a photo. I'll be very interested, because it's delicious. So, if you like this video, hit like, hit subscribe so you don't miss any more videos, and let your friends know about it on social media. And in the meantime, it's goodbye from Hilltop Farm. See ya!